Hi everyone. This is the 2024 MDC Makeup. Um, yeah. So first thing, we are doing the same lipstick as last year. It's a different shade, but if they were on the team last year, they probably remember that this is. I mean, it's matte, um, and it definitely dries out. I don't feel like it's super dry on your lips, but if they want to throw like a chapstick in with their makeup, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Whenever I use this stuff, I do that, and I put my chapstick on at the beginning, lips are last, so then it's sat for a while, and then it's not as dry when you put the lipstick on. Okay, so first thing is you're gonna start by priming your whole face, like eyelids, everything. We didn't include a primer, so you can get whatever one you want. The e.l.f. ones are really affordable, and they have a lot of different kinds that do different things, but make sure that you get it all over your eyelids, all over every part of your face, and that just is a really good like base for your makeup and helps it stay when they're sweating and under the hot lights and everything. Okay, so then the next step, you guys are gonna get a little like printout thing again. Some of you guys I know laminated them last year, but you can just keep them like with your makeup, and remind yourself of all the steps. But the next one that's on here is, it's optional, foundation and concealer. So especially the younger ones, they don't necessarily have to do this step, but some of the older ones like to. And that again that's kind of whatever you want to do there. If they want to put concealer, foundation on, that's up to them. But then if you skip that part, the next thing would be powder. So your powder looks like this. Again, it's the same one from last year. A lot of this is the same or very, very similar to last year. So it comes with this like poof ball thing. Mine is well loved. You can just like pat it to get some makeup. You can shake it. We're also gonna use this powder when we do the eyeshadow a little bit. So I recommend like tapping some into the lid like that, and then you can get it on the powder like puff thing that way too. But we're just gonna kind of have this like with us the whole time to make corrections. So you're then just gonna take that and put that all over everywhere, eyelids also. Again, just kind of creating a nice base for everything. Make sure that if they do their own foundation, and with this, that you don't want like a sharp line on your jaw where you like makeup and then no makeup. So make sure that you blend it down. That's usually more of an issue. This is a translucent powder, so it's not super pigmented. But you don't want there to be a harsh line, and that's a big thing with liquid foundation, is you end up not blending into your neck. So after that, the next step is kind of an optional or as needed thing, and that's eyebrows. So if they have dark hair, they have dark eyebrows, this step isn't really necessary. I don't usually do mine, but if yours are like at all lighter than mine, you probably should, but just for this video, I will. So this is our eyeshadow palette. It's like Willy Wonka themed. It's also chocolate scented, which is so fun. But if you are gonna do your eyebrows, I would take a brush that's like a flat angled brush, and you're just gonna pick whichever shade on here is closest to yours. I would do any of the ones on the bottom, well, maybe not that pink one, but the ones on the bottom row. Like for myself, I would do the one called Toffee, which is the lightest one on the bottom row. And you just get some on the brush, and then you're gonna make just kind of like little stroke motions, like you're drawing little hairs on your eyes, and just kind of fill out this shape where your hairs already are, just to kind of darken it up, because we want our facial expressions to be really, really clear on the stage, and eyebrows are a huge part of that. So if they have lighter colored eyebrow hairs, then you're gonna want to color these in. And my eyebrows usually aren't this dark, so yeah, that toffee one is a little bit like orange tinted. So the dark chocolate is the other one that I would say my color kind of is. Yeah, that one's a lot better. Maybe stay away from toffee. Yeah, that one is a lot better. I mean, it's really dark, but it's not as red. Oh, okay. So that looks a little crazy. That's why I don't usually do mine, because then it looks really strange. Okay. Anyway, after that, I'm just gonna do one. After that, then we have eyeshadow, which is, I think, probably like the most complicated part. I try to keep it fairly simple. It's a lot of just kind of like doing and then correcting. You have to just like keep going back and forth and fixing stuff. So first thing is we are going to take a fluffy-ish brush. If your dancer has smaller eyes, overall you're just going to want to use like smaller brushes. I get overwhelmed sometimes with the big brushes. Like that is, I don't know, about the size of my pinky, and I feel like that's almost like too big for my eyes. So the smaller ones, you just have more control over them. But the fluffier the brush, the easier it is to blend. Just sometimes then it gets like all over the place. But we're gonna start with a fluffy-ish brush, and we're gonna take all the names of the shades are all like candy themed. But we're taking Nutty Crunch Surprise, which is the lighter brown between the white one and the sparkly one on the top row. And you're going to take that and you're just going to cover the eyelid. So it's from your lash line to your crease. And you're just filling that in. And you'll do that on both eyes. I have my mirror over here, and that's why I'm kind of looking over there more. Keep in mind when we're doing this makeup that this is stage makeup, so it might not look great up close, and that's okay. 30-foot rule. It doesn't have to look like how you would wear it every day, because you wouldn't wear this every day. You just have to, we're just trying to like exaggerate our facial expressions so they're really clear on stage. So after that's step 5A. Then we go to 5B. And that's, you're going to take the darkest shade in the palette, this one down here, Deep Cacao. And then you're going to take that same kind of flat brush. It doesn't have to be angled, but a flat brush. And we're creating kind of like our crease line. So you're going to go straight up towards the tip of your eyebrow from the corner of your eye, kind of like if we were to be doing a wing with eyeliner, which we'll do later. And then taking it into your crease. And we're going to blend this out. So with this pigment, I only want you to go like halfway, because if you go all the, like almost all the way and then blend it, you're going to end up looking kind of crazy. So about halfway. And kind of fill that in a little bit. And then we're also, so this is one of the spots that's a little different than last year. This corner that we made right here, we're gonna fill that in also. Just so we have more kind of pigment there in that shadowed area of our eye. Like that. I'm gonna do that on both sides. This can be messy, and this is definitely a like trust the process kind of thing. In, out. In the process of doing the makeup, it always looks kind of crazy, and then by the time we get to the end, it's okay. Like, you just kind of make it work, and it pulls itself together at the end. And also we add like glitter on the top, and that helps a lot. Also, I didn't say this yet. I'll probably put it in like the title of the video, but this is for regular MDC and minis. The minis have a different shade of some stuff, like their lipstick's a different shade, their blush is a little bit different, but all the steps are the same. So after you do that, see, that one's like a little wonky, but that's okay. So after you do that, you're gonna take another fluffy brush. This one you want it to be a little smaller. Unfortunately, these are the two sizes I have. I'm gonna use this one. And you're gonna take dark chocolate, which is the second darkest shade, and we're just kind of blending this out with that, just to make it a little less like harsh. And you want to blend mostly up. You don't want to blend too much down onto your actual eyelid, because that's where we're putting the sparkle later, and I like the sparkle better with like a lighter background, which if you get some on your eyelid, it's fine. We make it work. But you can see I'm just kind of blending that up towards my eyebrow a little bit. Yeah, it's showing a little more, and like it's darker in real life than it's picking up on, than it's picking up on my camera, but that's okay. So you just want to make sure that you don't lose the pigment in this inner, like this corner here. So if you need to just go back in with that darker color. So kind of what I'm doing here is I'm switching back and forth between these two and just kind of redefining everything, like making it a little bit darker, and then if I feel like it's too harsh, then going in with the lighter color and blending it out. Okay. Yeah, okay. So then this is kind of like, I didn't really do too bad, but if up here, if you get it too close to your eyebrow, like if you're blending, wrong one, and you get it like way up here and you're losing it, you still can't tell, but this is like in my eyebrow now. That's when you can go back to your powder from earlier and just get it on another brush. Whoa, that was a lot. And like just kind of put that back up there to lighten that up again, because we want the underneath part of our eyebrow to be pretty light. We're gonna go back and highlight it later, but when we're just doing the eyeshadow, you can use that to help blend a little bit, because this, normally I would just do this with another eyeshadow, but this lightest color here is actually like a cream eyeshadow, which we are going to use it to help with the glitter, actually in this next step here. But when you're doing too much with that and like putting the cream on and then the powder on, it kind of can get really patchy. So that's why we're kind of saving that until now. We're on like the last kind of step of our eyeshadow, or one of them. So you're gonna take this cream color here, it's called Malt, and you can use a brush for this if you want. I'm just gonna use my finger. I feel like it's easier to apply that way. If you were to use a brush, I would use another flat one, probably like a more round one. Yeah, okay. But I'm just gonna use my finger, and we're applying this to our eyelid, not all the way to this outer corner, but I'm kind of just patting it on there, like, and this is just gonna create that lighter base I was talking about for the glitter that we're gonna add next. So we're doing kind of like if you've ever done a cut crease, it's similar-ish. We're just not doing it quite so clean and, again, harsh. But we want to keep that outer corner shadowed, because that's a big, like, that helps with showing facial expressions on stage. Okay, so I just put a little bit of that on. You can't even tell a lot, but it kind of just like almost re-primed my eyelid. And now same thing, I'm going to use my finger again. Welcome to use a brush. I'm a very use my hands and then just wash my hands after before touching my costumes. The Golden Ticket, it's the only glittery eyeshadow on there. It's really glittery. But just, again, with my finger, and then I'm just applying it right on top of where we just put malt. Okay, so now the last step on your little sheet of the eyeshadow steps is just go back in and touch stuff up. Sometimes the glitter gets a little too high, and I like to just go back in, since we're working with like matte and glitter eyeshadows, I like to go back in with that darker shade and just kind of like redefine that line and go over the glitter. That way it blends a little bit nicer there. Okay, all right. Next we have eyeliner. So the step after the eyeliner is the under eye eyeshadow. You can do that first. Just sometimes when I'm like holding my eye open to do my eyeliner, my eye waters, and then I will smudge, and I also like will do this kind of thing. And then I'll smudge the under eye eyeshadow. So I like to do mine after, but some of these, like the order, it doesn't really matter too much. So I'm using a different eyeliner than you guys. This is the one that you guys got. It has a little like gem thing on the end. But mine is really similar. It's just like a little marker tip on the end. They're really easy to use. My biggest tip with eyeliner is just practice. If you have hooded eyes, there's a lot of different, and that's when this part of your eye is like way down. Eyeliner can sometimes be really tricky like that, so there's a lot of different things you can do. I like to keep my eye open when I'm drawing the triangle that will become our wing, and that helps a lot. So I'll try and do that more like in my camera than in my mirror here so you guys can see. But also if you do the makeup class, I will demonstrate it there too. So you draw up towards the corner of, this is really hard, towards the corner of your eyebrow. And then this is what I mean by looking to the front. Like you're just gonna look and fill out that triangle. I'm not doing a very good example. There you go. Okay, so if I just look at you, that triangle looks pretty solid. And then if I close my eye, you can see there's like kind of a bump there. But it's okay, because we dance with our eyes open. So, it just has to look good with your eye open. That's really it. I always do the triangle first, and then the actual part along my lashes. We're gonna go about 2/3 of the way across. And just do little like dashes to make this line across your lash line. You want to keep it pretty thin, and then just connect it all the way across. Okay. So again, if I'm looking straight forward, my eyeliner looks fine. When I close my eye, not quite. If you want, you can always like kind of make a little diagonal line here. that. Again, just try and make it look nice when your eye is open. I'm going to do the other side in the mirror real quick so we can keep moving. If you end up with any weirdness with your eyeliner, you can always go in with concealer or makeup remover and fix it up. I use like the micellar water for my makeup remover, and you can use a Q-tip and just get a little bit on it, and then just like clean up underneath. I don't really have any bumps here, but you can also just use it to like sharpen up that wing. You kind of end up with this kind of stuff, but then if you use the other side, pretty good. Okay, eyeliner. So then we're gonna do under eye shadow. And for this, you can use a flat brush, or you can use, I'm going to use this little tiny round one. And we're using the shade Dark Chocolate, second darkest one. And you're just going to go from the outer corner of your eye about 2/3 of the way in. And we're not on the waterline. We're underneath it. And this is just a little bit of extra shadow. This isn't anything crazy. You want to keep it pretty thin. Okay. All right. So now mascara. Again, I'm not using, this is the one that you guys have, e.l.f. Lash and Roll. I'm going to use a different one, because I didn't order one for myself. But you're just applying to your top and bottom lashes, how you normally would. If you normally do multiple coats, that's fine. For right now, I'm just going to do one because I'm going to try and keep this video to being as short as possible. Okay. So next step is to touch up underneath your eyes, with your powder if you need to. I always just feel better doing a little like swipe underneath. Sometimes, especially like if you have too much powder on your brush, you'll end up with like fallout underneath your eyes, and just a swipe of the puff and it's gone. And that just looks a little cleaner. You can also go in with the smaller brush, like whatever you want to do. Okay, blush. So your blush looks like this. You want to use a, whoa, it's crunchy. You want to use a fluffy brush for this, and we're going to apply, across the cheeks, across the nose, like that. Think kind of like been out in the cold, and your face is all like red and rosy. blush is really important when you're on stage, so you don't look pale and lifeless. So again, this is one of those things that it's not going to feel natural, and you just gotta keep layering it on. If you feel like you have enough, do another pass, because you probably don't. And if you have too much, if you end up with too much, you can go back in with this. Yeah, I have a little bit. My face is just kind of getting red. I'm sitting by our heater. So down here, this isn't blush. That's just my face. Okay, next contour. So this is, you're going to want to use a fluffy-ish brush. It's not as big as my blush brush, but fluffy-ish, angled. And we're going to use toffee for this one. And you're just going to want we're like redefining kind of where the shadows of our face are. No, that's a harsh line. I'll blend it out. But you want to go under your cheekbones. We'll blend that out. And then also down your jawline and underneath your jaw. Just make sure it's nice and blended. Again, we don't want any like super harsh lines. I know this one's really harsh. I'll get it. Don't worry. If you are a more tan person, or your dancer is if you're doing their makeup, you can also use the shade Dark Chocolate, and it will, I mean, it's a darker shade, but that one is also fine. I think most of our dancers will be okay with toffee though. But we're just going underneath our cheekbones, down under our jawline. You're also going to get up by your hairline a little bit, on the outer corners. And then nose, you can use a smaller brush, or I kind of just pinch my brush for this one. But you're gonna go up by your eyebrow and then kind of down the side of your nose like that. And then blend that out. Okay. All right. It's pretty good. So now we're going to do highlight. Your highlight, whoa, looks like this. If you have a highlighter brush, you can use that. You can also use another kind of like blush brush and fan it out. Again, I use my finger. So we're applying this in a couple places. We're going to do tip of the nose. And you want to apply that in like a round motion and then up your nose. And then we're also going to do like tips of your cheekbones, inner corner, and right under like the peak of your eyebrow and kind of down that side. So again, inner corner, top of your cheekbone here, outer corner of your eyebrow. Yeah. Okay. And then we're on our last step, lips. So, this lipstick is very pigmented. It does not move once you have it on, but it's not super forgiving, so be careful. We're not overlining, we're not underlining. You're just gonna follow the outline of your lips, the natural outline, and then fill it in. Whoa. So you can kind of touch it up. I kind of like messed up a little bit. But you can touch it up with makeup remover. You want to try and do that before it dries if you're going to. Because once it dries, it is really on there, which is great for competitions. It's just a little tricky to get used to. All right, and that's the last step. So once you do that, you're all done. If you want to use like a setting spray, you can, but it's not necessary. If you do end up making any like tweaks around your lips, I would go back with your powder and touch it up a little bit because it will leave like a red stain. But otherwise, that's all.